Good morning, Algebra 2 class. Today we are going to begin the equation portion of logarithm work. And so today and tomorrow, both lessons will be about solving equations. They're just different types of equations. And hopefully you guys remember me telling you that the whole point of learning something new, like in this case logarithms, is to be able to solve equations with them later. It's been like that all through algebra. The whole reason for learning factoring is so that you can solve quadratic equations. So everything most of what we learn is background for solving some type of equation. So today we're solving exponential equations. You can put a date on there, you can put your name on there. To solve one, you need to know what one is. An exponential equation is an equation in which the variable is in an exponent. So the variable is in an exponent. And here's an example of an exponential equation. 2 raised to the x, that's where our variable is, equals 16. So the variable is up there in the air. That's where the exponent is. And so if that's where it is, that's an exponential equation. Now, if the variable's somewhere else, like x to the 5th equals, 32, this is not an exponential equation because the variable is not in the exponent. So that's not one. The variable is up there in the exponent. So here's how to solve one. 3 steps. First, you have to bring it down. So the way you solve an exponential equation is we have to get that variable down from there. And the way you do that is you take the log of both sides. See, if you take the log of both sides, you can use the power property to bring the log down, or to bring the exponent down. So it says, step 1, take the log of both sides. Step 2, use that power property, the power property of logarithms, to bring that exponent down. That's why we have to take the log of both sides, is to get that variable down from there. And then we solve it. So here we go. So we're going to solve 7 to the x power equals 20. Now before we solve it, let's just think about what it means for a minute. We want to raise 7 to some power, and it'll equal 20. You can kind of estimate what it's going to be, because if you raise 7 to the 1, that's 7. And if you raise 7 to the 2, 7 squared is 49. I'm trying to get 20. So it's somewhere between 7 and 49. It's a little less than halfway, right? It's less than halfway. So it's going to be between 1 and 2, but closer to 1. So I can kind of estimate what this answer is going to be. But that's not going to get the answer. That's just going to get a guess. So here's what you do. You do these 3 steps. Take the log of both sides. And we can take any log we want, but we're going to take a common log so that we can use our calculator. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So if you take the log of one side, you have to take the log of the other. When you write this, just be careful. Make sure you know what's all on the ground. So log of 7, that's on the ground. X is up in the air. Log of 20, this is all the rest of the stuff is on the ground. Okay, the x comes down front because this is the power property. So you can bring that down. X log 7 equals log 20. Now nothing's up in the air because we brought it down. And we're trying to get x by itself. So to get x by itself, you divide by this number. Log of 7, it's just a number. Log of 7, log of 7. So x is approximately whatever your calculator tells you that is. So log of 20, close parentheses, don't forget, close parentheses, divide by log of 7. And you get 1.5. Oh, I guess it was right at halfway. 7, yeah, it is. So 1.5. It's hard to know how many places to round it to, because I got this, and it's pretty standard to round answers to like 4 places, but it all depends on where they round it to. So if they want you to round it to here, that 3 says to leave it a 5, 1.5. Usually it's a little more places, a few more places. So just read the directions about where they want it rounded to. Okay, so this will be a good place for y'all to stop and try this one. And then press play again. So I'm going to take the log of both sides. Log of 3 to the x equals log of 95. You take the log of both sides, and the reason I'm not writing this little number in here because I'm using common log, so I can use the calculator. X log 3 equals log 95. And then when you're trying to get x by itself, you divide both sides by log 3. So here's what you need to know. If your variable is up in the air, you have to get it down from there. And the way you get it down from there is to take the log of both sides. We're going to do log 95 divided by log 3. Log 95, close parentheses, divide by log 3. You get 4.1. 4.1451. And just read carefully to where they want you to round to. See, 3 to the 4th, if you raise 3 to the 4th, 3 raised to the 4th, you get 81. And 3 raised to the 5th is going to give you 243. So see, it's way closer to 4. When we rose it to the 4, we got 81, which is getting kind of close to 95. So see, it's real close. All right, same thing. This is the same process. You take the log of both sides. So I'm going to take the log of 2 raised to the 3x, and I'm going to take the log of 8. Whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. We're taking a common log, so we can use our calculator. 3x, this whole exponent comes down. So 3 times x times log of 2, see 3x came down front, equals log 8. Now, we're trying to get x by itself. That looks like a times. We're trying to get x by itself. So we need to get rid of multiplying by 3, and we need to get rid of multiplying by log of 2. Well, you can do that all in one step. You can divide by 3 log 2, like that. Or, if that's too much, you could divide both sides by log of 2 and get an ugly decimal number, and then divide that by 3. So I'll show you another way to do it over here. All right, so I'm going to divide by 3 log 2. The 3 will cancel, the log 2 will cancel, and that will leave x. So I'm going to punch this in the calculator. Just be real careful how you punch this in. Log of 8, close parentheses, divide by 3 times, I'm trying to decide, do I need a parenthesis around that? I'll try it. 3 times log 2. I think I need parentheses around this whole thing. I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to put parentheses around the whole thing. Times, so on the bottom, 3 times log 2, close parentheses. Now, I closed it twice. I closed it around the 2, and I closed it around the whole denominator. And you get 1. Ooh. Okay. If that's too much calculator, risk, like if you're not sure that it's gonna do everything right, you can do it this way instead. You can divide by log of 2. See, I've told y'all before, I have trust issues with calculators. I'm always afraid I'm gonna forget some kind of required parenthesis. Okay, so log of 8 divide by log 2. See, it gives you 3. So that is 3. And then it does work. So it did work to put this entire bottom thing in parentheses, because you get x equals 1. So you can do both at the same time. You can divide by 3 log 2 to get rid of all that at the same time. Just make sure that whole bottom is grouped. And if you don't want to risk it, just divide them individually. Divide by the log to get rid of that part. And that gives you a normal number. A lot of times that'll give you an ugly decimal when we do this. And then you just divide it by that number in front of x. So either way would be fine. These are for those of you who have trust issues with calculators like I do. Okay. Example 4. These are all just practice of the same thing. So take the log of both sides. Log of 2 to the x. Now, if you happen to know, sometimes you get these pretty answers. You know, because you may know the power of 2 that gives you 16. It gives you a nice answer. But you may not recognize that. So you take the log of both sides, and then you bring down your x. X log 2 equals log 16. Get x by itself, divide by log 2. And this is just a normal one, just normal. One thing on the bottom, one thing on the top. Log 16 divide log 2. You get 4. See, 2 raised to the 4th power gives you 16. You can check that. 2 raised to the 4th power gives you 16. I forgot, you can check these other ones too. Like even this ugly answer right here. If we raise, I checked it with a 4 a minute ago, but if you raise 3 raised to the 4.1451, you get, see how close to 95? Because we rounded it, 94.99. So all these can be checked like that. Okay, this one, you need to change this right here, because I wrote this one for our seniors. If you solve it with this number, you'll find out how long ago it was I used these notes. So we're gonna change this 0.8 part. We're gonna change that to a 1.3. This one is for our seniors. So I'm changing that value. I meant to change it before I printed it, but I couldn't figure out how to change a PDF. All right, so here's our problem. We're gonna take the log of both sides. So seniors, try this one, and then press pause and try it. Everybody actually, but this one's for you guys. So I'm gonna take the log of both sides. Log of 3 to the x plus 4 equals log of 101.13. And so when you take the log of both sides, the reason we do that is we're allowed to bring that whole thing down. Now, this one's a little bit different because we're bringing down a binomial. We're bringing down two things. So we're bringing down x plus 4 like that. That whole quantity. Log of 3 equals log of 101.13. Now this is one I would not try to get rid of everything all in one step because it actually would need to be distributed. So this is one I would definitely handle those logs first. And so I'm going to write over here what you get. You get x plus 4 because the log of 3 is going to cancel. X plus 4 equals this stuff. So punch that into your calculator. Log 101.13 divide by, oops, forgot to close my parentheses. Don't do that, y'all. Divide by log 3. You get 4.2020. 4.2020. And then you subtract 4. You're subtracting the whole number 4, so you subtract it from this. And that's like subtracting 4.0000. So when you subtract, or you don't even need to know that, you just leave that answer in your screen and you subtract 4, this is what you get. You get 0.2020. That's for our seniors, for Sunny and for Sky. Class of 2020, y'all. Woo. All right. And then the last one, so it even works where there's a fraction. So you're going to take the log of both sides. Log of 2 raised to the 3x. Log of 1/8. You're going to need to be careful when you type that in. Bring down your 3x. 3x log 2 log of 1/8. You can divide by 3 log 2 if you want. You can do that all at once. Like this. Or you can divide just by log 2 and then handle the 3 at the end. So you can do, oops, you can divide just by log 2. And then handle the 3 at the end. I think I'll do it this way. So divide both sides by log 2, and you get 3x is whatever this is. So log of 1/8 divide log 2. You get -3, -3. And then divide by 3, and you get -1. So that answer is -1. If you do it this way, just do this carefully. Group that bottom. So it will work. Log of 1/8 divide by, group the bottom. 3 log, what was it? 3 log 2? Close parentheses twice. You're closing the, oops, I wonder what I did there. I did something funky. Y'all. So hold on. Log, now y'all can see why I have trust issues with calculators. Log 1/8, close parentheses, divide, group 3 log 2. 3 log 2. Close, close. I think I pressed second before I pressed log a minute ago. -1. All right, so yeah, that's how to solve exponential equations. You take the log of both sides and you bring that power down. So that is all to lesson 7.5. Tomorrow we'll solve logarithmic equations, which is 7.5 part 2. All right, y'all have a great day. Bye.